Joseph Victor Génissieu was a French lawyer and politician who was in turn president of the National Convention, Minister of Justice and president of the Council of 500 during the French Revolution. Early years. Joseph Victor Génissieu was born in Chabois, Drôme, in October 1749. His family originally came from Parnans, near to Romans-sur-Isère. His grandfather Clement Génissieu left that village towards the end of the 17th century and established himself as a merchant in Chabois. His parents were Joseph Génissieu, notary and prosecutor, and Dominique Faure. Joseph Victor Génissieu became an advocate with the Grenoble Parliament before the Revolution. When the Revolution broke out in 1789, he assisted in the Assembly of Visil and organized the People's Society of Grenoble. Quote, in 1790 he was named administrator of the Grenoble district and judge of the Grenoble court. Political career. In September 1792 Génissieu was elected to the National Convention for the Department of Isère, and became one of the most important members. He was an ardent revolutionary. He did not sit with the Mountain, but was associated with almost all the violent measures of the convention. On the 16th of December 1792, he demanded that all members of the royal family be banished, including the Duke of Orleans. On the 20th of January 1793, he voted for the death of King Louis XVI of France without appeal or reprieve. On the 26th of March he demanded that all the former nobles be disarmed. On the 31st of March 1793 Génissieu spoke in the convention in favor of banning performances of Voltaire's play Merope. The allusions in the play to a queen in mourning were awkward since Louis XVI had just been executed. On the 22nd of July he voted that a forced loan, voted the month before, be levied only on the capitalists. On the 5th of July he declared that the priests and nobles who took part in the Vendée uprising should be treated as chiefs of brigands. He constantly pressed from the most severe measures against the émigrés. After the Thermidorian reaction of 9 Thermidor II, Génissieu was charged with examining the conduct of the Revolutionary Tribunal of Brest. He submitted a cold and impartial report on 16 Prairial 3 describing actions that had often been appalling. His reports on the conduct of the deputies Dupin and Chaudron Rousseau, justly accused of great misdeeds, were equally dispassionate. In a speech on 11 Floréal 3, Génissieu discussed the dilemma that to make the Committee of Public Safety more efficient by giving it more power would risk a dangerous transfer of authority from the elected convention to the anonymous bureaucracy. Génissieu was the author of the law of 28 Thermidor III that declared void all revolutionary judgments since the 10th of March 1793. While maintaining his position on the émigré. On 18 Fructidor 3 he asked that Charles Maurice de Talleyrand Périgord be removed from the list. 4 days later he voted for a law restoring the property to deported priests, but he was the author of a law the next day banning all intransigent priests and the parents of émigrés from public office. He always took the position of someone whose political views did not blind him to the need for justice. However, after having voted for a law that allowed the accused to challenge their judges in some circumstances, he declared that the parents of émigrés could not sit on juries. Génissieu was made president of the convention on 16 Vendémiaire IV. On 4 Brumaire IV he declared that the convention had completed its mission. Génissieu was elected to the Council of 500 for Isère. On 17 Nivose IV he accepted the post of Minister of Justice. He held office until the 3rd of April 1796, when he was replaced by Philippe Antoine Merlin de Douai. He had resigned since he could not achieve his goals. He was appointed French consul in Barcelona. He refused this position and was named Deputy Commissioner of the Court of Cassation on 14 Germinal IV. 2 years later, the Council of 500 nominated Génissieu to the Council of Ancients as a director, but Jean-Baptiste Treilhard was accepted instead. Génissieu was re-elected to the Council of 500 for the Seine, and was elected President of the Council on 30 April 7. Last years, Génissieu was opposed to the coup of 18 Brumaire in which Napoleon came to power. He was arrested on 20 Brumaire for having declared Napoleon should be outlawed. He was released after 6 hours. A few days later he abandoned his principles and accepted the position of a judge in the Court of the Seine. He died in Paris on the 27th of October 1804. A street in Grenoble carries his name. Publications. Génissieu's publications included Au nom du peuple français, Proclamation du représentant du peuple Génissieu en mission dans les départements de l'Orne et de l'Essar, Au patriote appelés à la défense du département de l'Essar, rapport fait par Génissieu, au nom de la commission chargée de présenter les moyens d'élever les recettes de l'AN 7 au niveau des dépenses séance du 26 Germinal and 7. Proclamation du représentant du peuple Génissieu en mission dans les départements de l'Orne et de l'Essar, aux patriotes appelés à la défense du département de l'Essar, France. LOI qui exclut jusqu'à l'apex de toutes fonctions publiques, les provocateurs aux signataires de mesures séditieuses et contraires aux lois. 1795.